One, two, one, two, three, four.
Damn cat hair. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to another episode of the NIKO Show. We're on episode 20. Oh my god, I can't believe it. Episode 20. What am I going to do? How am I going to celebrate? I guess I'll just wear my sun shirt with my Mario hat. It's a good green. I'm like Mario, Sun, and Luigi combined and all that good stuff. 20 episodes of the NIKO Show. This is pretty exciting. And you know, how do we start this celebration? Well, I guess I'll just start with thank you everybody who has stopped by and have been curious to check out the NIKO Show and what it entails of and how we do things right when it comes to video gaming news. I'm super non-PC and not censored. Haha, yeah, that word. But to be honest, guys, this has been a great journey so far, doing this on the YouTube and Twitch platform. And it's always fun to do this. I mean, who doesn't love talking about video game news, video games themselves, and just all things about me and everything. Keep an eye out on the cat. You might see it jump on the kitchen counter over there. But without further ado, like I said, my name is NikoTheLegend. This is the NIKO Show, and you're here witnessing a great episode 20. And we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about today, of course. We're going to talk about Chinese gamers, all the game releases coming out in June 2018, One Punch Man, Lords of the Fallen 2, and then gaming, parenting, or how games changed my way of parenting, or something like that. So, yep, all video games are related to gun violence in schools. Yep, good correlation there. Wrong. But before we get into that, I usually do like an introduction about myself. So let's do this. Well, has anything have happened with me recently in RL besides doing this in YouTube and Twitch? Well, I am, as you well all know, in the videos on the YouTube channel, I have released my first short story on Amazon. That was about maybe like a month and a half ago. Been trying to sell that, making some sales on it, putting my name out there. It's really hard to do it because it's, competitive environment. But I've been working on short stories ever since then. I'm on my third one, and I release them every 2 weeks, and it's a lot of fun to do. I really enjoy making up different series of stories with the same character on, like, this person going on different adventures and all that. It's really fun, especially in the fantasy setting. But it's very, it's very casual based. It's not like over the top, like, it's like elves, dwarves, and stuff. It's just like the fantasy element is like on the side. It's just like a plus. But all in all, it's literally focused on what's going on the short story. So it's a really cool premise. I hope you guys check it out. Like I said, you can always look me up on Amazon.com. For my first story is Need More Lumber, or you can just type in my name, Nicholas Sorokin. If you don't know where I'm at, you can just find me on Twitter and all that. But yeah, all in all, it's really fun. And this week, I will release short story 3. It's gonna be great. It's called It Come in Pints. It Comes in Pints. Yeah. All my titles for my stories are gonna come in video games or movies, or just really nice, awesome quotes that we all well know and love. But anyway, not to get so far into that. That's just what mainly focusing on. And then I'm still training to be a personal trainer. I'm still doing the program under ACE certification, accredited site. Almost done with that. Got about a month and a half left until I take the certification test, and then I get certified as a personal trainer, and then I can start doing what I love most too, which is fitness. I mean, my arms are real sore. But yeah, those are the 2 big things. Now let's talk about what I'm doing in gaming. Well, as you well all know, I've been streaming quite often on both platforms recently, and I've decided to do that real recently, I don't know why I haven't been doing it in the first place, because I think I have a pretty decent enough size subscriber count to get people to come in and check it out, and random people can check it out too, and if they like what they see, they can also, they can subscribe to me and support me and say hello, which is always fun. So I've been doing that with a few games, and then most recently has been a really fun, nerve-wracking roller coaster of a game. Just the way it's set up is Pokemon Heart Gold or Soul Silver Randomizer Nuzlocke. A ton of fun. Met a lot of great people. I'm really grateful for the people that stop by and check me out and support what I love doing, and my madness in the game, and how much of a noob I am, or average gamer I am. So we try to make it work, But yeah, like I said, it's pretty fun. I like doing it. We spend like a couple hours playing it, and a couple hours in Pokemon game. Streaming goes by real fast. But yeah, it's good fun. And then yeah, on side note, I'm still trying to beat Horizon Zero Dawn, so there's still that. When we get done with Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm gonna start tackling like Ratchet and Clank 2015, Red Faction 1 and 2, the old school PS2 games, but I bought them on the PS4 because they were on sale. And then they'll go from there. I'd hope to stream those games as well. And today I'm gonna be playing The Old Republic. I haven't decided if I want to stream it or not. I might for like maybe a couple hours or something. I've just been really like interested in playing it. I've been reading the new Star Wars. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I've been reading a new Star Wars book called Thrawn, made by Timothy. Author by Timothy Zahn, or book made by Timothy Zahn, and it's gonna be good fun. Watch, the cat's gonna try to jump down. There he is. Get down. Get down. Get down. I said get down. No cats on the counter. He tries to be a celebrity, but he realizes that he's no match for me. So if he starts being a little butthead, yeah, we'll put him in the cellar and get him into dogfighting, right, little buddy? So yeah, it's great book so far. Thrawn is a great book if you're really into Star Wars and you like the lore and all that, and if you like old canon and somehow are trying to deal with new canon garbage, well, Thrawn is in both. So yay, we can enjoy that just well. I don't know what he's doing. He's sniffing the floor. Maybe he's gonna poop on it. But yeah, it's really cool. So I have reading that makes me have the urge to play the Old Republic. So I can argue with that, and it's free to play. And I'd like to level up my Imperial Age. I think I might actually make a Chiss character, which wouldn't be too bad. What do you see, buddy? Want to be a part of the show? Yeah. Cats get so upset when they're like, no, don't put me on your lap. But, you know, they decide when they sit on you. Okay, say hi to the camera, kitty. Woo! His name is Nimble. And he's like, yo, I'm a shithead sometimes. He really is. Okay, anyway, so he'll just be hanging around with us for a bit. All right, so let's get on with the gaming news. We have, like I said, we have quite a bit to talk about, so I dare not hesitate on something great. Petting his head right now, it's cute. Just without the cat hair. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's get on with our first article. This one is interesting. You know, I don't like using CNNBC because fake news. But Americans largely won't pay to win a video game, but Chinese gamers will. What does that mean exactly? What does that mean, you know? Is it this whole microtransaction controversy? Because I actually haven't read these articles. I should proofread them to see if they're, you know, child-oriented or whatever. Not so dark, but, you know, it's okay. That's all right. So, let's see. Cultural norms may end up shaping how the video game industry makes money, said Tom Widgem of market research consultancy Newzoo. Okay. Backlash in 2017 to EA introduction of pay-to-win mechanics in Star Wars Battlefront 2 hit the company's stock price and sparked a conversation about the acceptability of microtransactions in video games. Despite that, most analysts have projected that in-game microtransactions or transactions were likely to be a way forward for the industry. Yeah, because it makes them money. Just the base sum of money of just transactions. Of course it's projected to make a way forward for the industry, right? Because it makes them money. But does it really work for the consumer? Does it really, in the long run, make a huge difference? I think the way that they did it in that game made a huge difference, and that's why it was such a shitstorm. Because the way they did it was so scummy, because it was really a part of the game's progressional system, and the only way you could do it is to get anywhere is to spend stupid credits on stupid packs. And yeah, they fixed it. They've done a better job at dealing with it, but you know, it really put a sour taste in all our mouths. Just like The Last Jedi, you know, we had garbage with garbage. Let's see. While video gamers in the West might frown at the idea of paying to get an upper hand in games, many of their Chinese counterparts find the practice perfectly acceptable. Of course they do. Of course they fucking do. China's like just in shambles right now with its economy and trade and just leaking out people out of their country because it's so overpopulated. And, you know, factory workers, you know, get those kids in there. Video game companies will want to take notice of that difference. Some cultural elements influence how companies can make money in the increasingly competitive but increasingly lucrative industry, said Tom Widgman, a consultant with market research firm Newzoo. What an awful name. Noting that the practice of pay-to-win in video games is generally not acceptable by Western gamers, Widgem contrasted that how many in China accept games that sell progress, rewards, or in-game boosts. Oh, China. When will you ever get your shit together? Let's see. Different starting points. The difference in gamer attitudes towards such practices may stem from a difference in cultural norms that have developed as a result of paths, goodbye kitty, taken by countries' gaming markets. Those industries in the East, with the exception of Japan and West, started at very different points, with legislation and purchasing power playing a role in what games ended up being favored by gamers. The early days of gaming in the West began with watershed moments such as the creation of Atari's Pong arcade machine in 1972 and the company's subsequent release of Space Invaders on its 2600 console. While those titles ushered a new era of video gaming in the home, the medium has played out quite differently in Asia. In some instances, gaming consoles were not even legally recognized by the state and were only available on the black market. See China? See how much you fuck things up? Jesus. As was the case in China from 2000 to 2013, said Lisa Kozmas Hansen, managing partner at NIKO Partners. Hey, NIKO, that's me. NIKO Partners. When the ban was officially lifted in 2015, the price ended up being too high for many Chinese consumers, and not many AAA title blockbuster games were released in the country, she added. Instead of playing home consoles with major franchises like Sonic or Mario, many went to cafes where personal computers were the device of choice. Kind of like a cyber cafe that we have in the U.S. West today. Instead of in Asian territories such as South Korea and China, the traditional consumption model has been via the PC and originally internet cafe prepaid game time or subscription, said Piers Harding-Rolls, director and head of games research at IHS Markit. It's Market with an IT at the end, not ET. Since many of the consumers in those markets were used to paying recurring costs to games, they have largely migrated to free games with microtransactions today. Oh, Lord. Microtransactions are in-game sales made with real money in exchange. Yes, we know that. In contrast, he said legacy markets such as the US, Western Europe, and Japan tend to have a business model that is more mixed in nature, with microtransactions gradually gaining traction. So, because these developers and businesses that run these gaming setups or events where they can go and play it, they make them free to play, but then they charge you everything else microtransaction related. So you know what it's called. Freemium. Free to pay. Oh god. Pay to play. Pay to win, basically. And that's the best they can do, apparently, over there. That's just the model, the business model over there, because them getting their hands on overpriced electronics is just a thing that's just not happening for them. So they, with the money that they do have, they just come into these places, sit down and play for hours, and then just keep paying. They pay for the time they are being there. They pay for what they play. Well, the things they buy in the game. It's kind of crazy. All right, microtransactions on the spotlight. As video game microtransactions have grown in prominence, they've also attracted more criticism. Things came to a head in 2017 when two of the year's most anticipated video game titles, Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Warner Bros. Middle-earth: Shadow of War, faced backlash from gamers due to the inclusion of microtransactions in exchange for so-called loot boxes. Yeah, we remember that, don't we? Oh, we remember that. According to the Entertainment Software Association, the Gaming Industries Trade Association, loot boxes are a voluntary feature. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure it is. That's why in Shadow of War, they really wanted you to voluntarily buy the loot crates in their single-player campaign, right? Because, you know, the last part of the game is just a really fun tower defense that, you know, if you don't have powerful enough orcs, you can't win, and you don't get the true ending. So what's a way to make that stress go away? Oh, geez, I don't know. Putting microtransactions always in front of you on the table. Yeah, that's really great. Yeah, that's such a voluntary feature. We start shoving cigarettes in our mouth, and we have no idea. We just have no choice but to smoke it after a while, just to get it over with. Push comes to shove. That's exactly what it is. The resulting backlash was so strong that E3 saw $3.1 billion of its shareholder value wiped out. Okay, let me just stress that enough. The resulting backlash was so strong that EA saw $3.1 billion of its shareholder value wiped out on the stock market less than 2 weeks after the launch of Battlefront 2. 3.1 million, see, this is why it's such a big number, $1 billion of its shareholder value wiped out in less than 2 weeks on the stock market. That is ridiculous. That is astronomical. That is seriously, you know what that is? That's getting punched in the balls so hard that it turns punched in the dick so hard that it turns your dick inward into a vagina. That's basically what it does. Or it goes up your ass. I don't know, depending on how long it is. That's basically what happened to the company. That's how hard the hit was. That is insane. Insane. This is why barely anybody plays that shit game anymore. So, you'll see me probably playing it tomorrow. Haha. The pressure was strong enough that they're using nice words now. The pressure was strong enough for the company to announce changes to the game in March this year with the permanent removal of loot boxes. You know, because they just had to wait. They just had to wait 6 months or 5 months, whatever, to remove loot boxes immediately. It's like They were trying so hard to find any type of way of making this a thing. It's ridiculous. Just get rid of it. Say you're sorry that this happened, and then just, I mean, I understand they have to rework the system in order to make the progressional system work without loot crates. But that's how much loot boxes were such a thing in this game, affecting the progressional system. It's not cosmetics, it's game changers. So they had to wait this long to do it for March in order to play the game, in order to have a progressional system that works. It's ridiculous. And it's okay for now, but the only way they're going to have to do, the only way they can do it is make another game and fix all that. But who the fuck wants another game at this point? Like, who gives a shit about EA working on Star Wars? They suck. They suck. EA is terrible. This is terrible. Weeks later, Warner Brothers declared it was removing microtransactions from its blockbuster, admitting that the option risked undermining the heart of the game. Risked. Now, this is just, these are just quotes that they just like to nitpick from. So I'm sure that's like a quote that takes like place like in a giant paragraph explaining this and that. So, just take it with a grain of salt. This is stuff that I'm passionate about talking, so I just like to put my emphasis on it. So despite the uproar, however, microtransactions remain commonplace in today's video game industry. In China, the world's largest market for the sector, microtransactions accounted for 88% of PC game spending in 2016. Oh, of course it was. Oh, of course. Anyway for China to get more money, because they have one of the biggest trading industries on this goddamn planet. Oh, God. Made in China, made in China, made in China. Exactly. A recent report by Newzoo projects the global video games market to be on track for a decade of double-digit growth. From 2012 to 2021 and 2018 alone, 2.3 billion gamers across the world were expected to spend $137.9 billion on games, the market research firm said. So, okay, so let me just reread that statement. In 2018 alone, it's not even... It's just expected. Okay, this is just projected. 2.3 billion gamers across the world were expected to spend how much? $137.9 billion on games, the market research firm said. Can you just imagine how much goddamn money that is? And gaming industries are so money hungry that putting loot crate boxes in their games just isn't enough. Despite how much they make from all their enterprises, from all their sponsors, from all the marketing strats that they have, all the purchases of their games and licenses, it's just not enough. It's just not enough. We have a 200-floor building. I really want to get that 210-floor building going. So I know we're doing really good right now. 200 is the limit. But let's put this in. Let's just do it and see what happens. Boom. Punch in the dick so hard it turns into a goddamn black hole. God damn it. All right. So, in conclusion, China is pretty in a rough shape. Of course, it'll always be in a rough shape for a while, even though it says it's projected it's going to be back on track. It's going to be okay. But despite how long it took to get a ban off of video games and just owning a console in your house, like only been lifted for a few years ago, it's really depressing. It is really depressing. It's like once they lifted it, they opened up a casino for gaming consumers to go and indulge and spend their life away. Good job, China. Really good. Whoa. Really making the world spin around you on a tilt, that's for sure. But anyway, that's enough of that. All right, so let's go on a more positive note. As I sip some water after that. So let's talk about fun stuff. All the video games releasing in June 2018 and what to play. I like to share some little funsies articles, every now and then, just to kind of, shed some light, shed some happiness to get, people excited. But I also like spitting the truth, June is here at last, and with it comes a pretty strong month of game releases. Summer is usually the dead season when it comes to new video game releases, and this June is unseasonably strong. First time for everything, right? That's especially true if you're a Nintendo Switch gamer. Switch owners will have a ton of new games and ports to choose from in June, continuing Nintendo's stellar release schedule into the summer. here's the big list with some highlights at the end. All right, so let me know if you guys are going to buy any of these games this month. Let's see, June 5th, Blaze Blue, happy birthdays. Nobunaga Ambition, yeah, that's good. Make a title that nobody can say. Nobunaga, really? Onrush, Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn. Oh god, I can't believe they're making a sequel to Shaq Fu. That is just ridiculous. Ridiculous. The Elder Scrolls Online Summer Set, which came out. Wait, what? That came out today? Oh snap! Vampire, which is a big release for a lot of people. They've been waiting for a Vampire RPG game because anybody who liked Vampire the Masquerade back in the back in the 90s or early 2000s, I can't remember, but I had Vampire the Masquerade, and I watched my brother play it, and he beat the whole game, and it's one of the best immersive games out there, actually. One of the best Vampire games too, and they used to play tabletop Vampire the Masquerade as well. It's pretty cool. Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor, Martyr, PC. Okay, delayed until July. That's just funny. June 7th, Flashback, the Banner Saga 2 for the Switch. That's a good one. MotoGP 18. Oh my god, MotoGP, man. That's like the biggest like bike game ever. Indie bike game, whatever. June 8th, Muv Love Alternative, Sushi Striker, The Way of Sushido. Jurassic World Evolution, Super Bomberman R. Oh, what the heck? I guess Bomberman's coming out for consoles now. Well, besides the Switch. June 15th, Lego The Incredibles. June 19th, The Lost Child, Musings. June 21st, Vegas Party. June 22nd, Mario Tennis Aces. That's a big one. Luminous Remaster, New Gundam Breaker. June 26th, Wise 8. Lacrimosa of Dana, Crash Bandicoot for PC, Switch, and Xbox One. Sorry, Crash, you're not an exclusive anymore. I don't know why Naughty Dog would do that. The Crew 2, Psychedelica of the Ashen Hawk, Far Cry 3 Classic Edition, standalone. Wolfenstein 2 for the Switch. That's a big one. MXGP Pro on, yeah. That's a whole lot of fun. Let's see if we get to see some examples here, some pictures. But, oh god, The Incredibles. It's like, come on, guys. We don't care about The Incredibles anymore. If they don't make a sequel after, like, a few years, I don't care really about it anymore. Just kidding. I love Blade Runner 2049. It just depends on the game. Here we go. Vampire. Yes, one of the most anticipated games. This game has mixed reviews from critics, that is. But, I wouldn't discredit it. It might actually be a really fun game. I would always read the Steam reviews and the Metacritic stuff. Jurassic World Evolution, Shaq Fu, that's so great. So ESO Somerset is a huge one. I think it's another big expansion. You know, they did Morrowind and now they're on Somerset. I'm just hoping that they don't do Elsewhere, which is for the Khajiit. You know, and I hope that Bethesda has, like, the single player aspect of it has the rights to do that. You know, like they claimed it for the next Elder Scrolls series, Elder Scrolls 6. So who the hell knows when that's going to come out? It's ridiculous. Okay, next article. Here's something a little kind of a little interesting, right? Okay, sorry. So, could One Punch Man video game be a reality? Hold on a second. I'll be right there. Sorry about that. Kitty wanted to go outside. All right, so we'll never see him again. Could a One Punch Man video game be a reality? If there's one anime IP that deserves a video game that hasn't gotten one already, excuse me, you'd be hard pressed to find a better one than One Punch Man. Oh my god, freaking hiccups. Hope as we might, though, no plans for a video game adaptation has surfaced, but what if it did? Imagine Bandai Namco spin on a One Punch Man game. The studio's Masao game seemed like a perfect fit for the style One Punch Man deserves. After all, how different is Liu Bei mowing down hundreds of enemies in Dynasty Wars from what we see Saitama do on screen? E3 is just around the corner, and that would be a perfect time to watch for the surprise video game announcements. With the fervor of news coming out of the industry during the next few weeks, it might be easy to miss. But studios from around the world make significant announcements that detail their plans for the coming year. And then here's a little tweet. This little tweet. Why isn't there a One Punch Man game yet? Bandai Namco is sleeping. With the second season of One Punch Man in production and rumored to be coming out of sometime late this year, the time for a One Punch Man game has never been better. The series is well established in the U.S. thanks to its run on Adult Swim, and the franchise has fans the world over ready for a new morsel. The story does not need to even follow the series exactly or even put you in control of Saitama 100% of the time. There are tons of heroes in the world of One Punch Man, so you can take control of Genos, Moomin Rider, Sonic, or any other of the people who appeared on the show. Bandai Namco's Attack on Titan 2 game even lets you play as Titan, so maybe a One Punch Man could also put in the shoes of the villains. For now, no One Punch Man video game has been announced. However, with how well the series would adapt itself, I'd be surprised if we went too much longer before we hear about one in production. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen the anime, you should really check it out because it's pretty good. You can watch it on Netflix. It's still not dubbed yet for some reason. Like, it's already been dubbed already. I just don't understand why Netflix doesn't have it yet. Sometimes they're really slow with that crap. It's the same thing with Hunter x Hunter. It's not dubbed on Netflix last time I watched it, and I was just like, why is this not dubbed yet? And it's like one of the earliest episodes. I don't know, but it's a little crazy. A little crazy. Season 2 is gonna be really cool. I hope it's longer though. I really don't like short animes. I can't stand it. Like, I hate seasons that are only like 10 episodes. Like, it's kind of, I don't know. Anime likes to do that. Because you just watch it so fast. And I'm like, can you just make this like 30 episodes or something? I know it's kind of a stretch, and it's just based on how the manga is. But, you know, one of these days we might get it. One of these days. All right, next topic. Here's something that you don't care about probably, people. But Lords of the Fallen 2 gets new developer out of hiatus. Woo! Light Souls 2 is back in business.
That's so funny. Yeah, Light Souls 2. I'm IGN. I make funny fucking article names.
God, I hate these guys. Why do I even tolerate them? So, Lords of the Fallen 2 has finally found a development partner in New York-based Defiant Studios. CI Games has partnered with Defiant Studios, founded by the former head of Avalanche Studios' New York office team behind Just Cause 3. David Griddens to develop the sequel to 2014's Lords of the Fallen. We talked to a number of globally respected studios that had shown a strong interest in making the next Lords of the Fallen game. Oh, hey, Riley. How you doing, Riley? Hi. Okay, so we finally decided to move forward with Defiant because we were impressed with their game concept, production expertise, and the pedigree of their developers, said CI Games chief executive Martinsky. Defiant is made up of some of the industry's most talented creators, and we're thrilled to have them create the sequel to Lords of the Fallen. We look forward to bringing their next big game to the global market on consoles and PC. We've been talking with CI Games for several months now, and we went through a detailed process of getting to know one another's expectations and motivations in regards to Lords of the Fallen 2. We're happy that we can commit our studio to developing a great game in with the alien clip, a well-established franchise. Our team has been excited about the chance to make the Lords of the Fallen from the moment we started to work on our pitch for CL. We are particularly thrilled about the creative freedom that CL Games is willing to offer. Lords of Fallen's combat earned it in the title of Light Souls in our review, with its goal of creating a more accessible Dark Souls style experience going a step or two too far. A Lords of the Fallen sequel was confirmed in December 2014. Shortly afterwards, Deck 13 wouldn't be returning to work on the title. Okay, well, that's great. I played a little bit of the game, but I'm more of a Dark Souls fan. I do like the aesthetics of this game, though. It's like if Diablo Diablo 3 was like a Dark Souls type S game. It looks really cool. Graphics are pretty good. I preferably play it on PC so you get that uncapped frame rate. You know, on consoles it's like 30 frames. I'm like, yike. But in this game, you just can't go wrong. You can get this game. You can get Lords of the Fallen dirt cheap, like literally dirt cheap. It goes down in price so fast. Compared to Dark Souls will always be kind of an expensive game. But this is like, if you're a pole man, you want to look for a clone type Dark Souls games. Well, Lords of the Fallen is one of those games. It's a pole man's Dark Souls game. There's a lot of great aesthetic value in the game, though. It's really, really cool. But sometimes, yeah, it does go a step or two too far. I think one of the bosses I fought in the game was it took a little too long to fight him. Like, he had way too many, like, stages of himself, different final forms. And, you know, Dark Souls is just life bar, and then that's it, you know. But this had, like, stage 1, stage 2, and 3. I don't know. It kind of takes a little too long. But what do I know? I probably just suck at the game. Okay, so, wow. Are we going to get through this really fast before an hour is up? Oh, my God! All right, well, let's see if we can milk this next article as fast as we can. But, yeah, pick up Lords of the Fallen 2 if you really care about being a Care Bear. Alright, so here's a good one, Pumpkin Piley. How games have changed my perspective on parenthood, or the masterclass in character development that is The Last of Us and Telltale's The Walking Dead. So, heavy spoilers up ahead for The Last of Us and the first season of Telltale's, plus minor spoilers for the opening of God of War 2018. You have been warned, Internet. You have been freaking warned. I mean, geez, if you haven't played any of The Walking Dead Telltale's games, what are you waiting for? One of the reasons people love games is because they allow an escape from our surroundings to experience the empowerment that comes from taking action with pixel protagonists. Two of my favorite gaming experiences of the last few years, however, did more than that. They helped me reflect on my own life. Oh, geez, I thought video games was led to gun shooting in schools. Oh, my God, the correlation is there. Very interesting. Way to go, media. Nearing my mid-20s in politics, in the early 2010s, I was drawn to two protagonists who exhibited heroic qualities to which I had never given a second thought. When I think back to Lee Everett in Telltale's The Walking Dead and Joel in The Last of Us, I realized the sacrifices they were willing to make for their unofficially adopted children had illuminated my perspective on parenthood. Each of these men were broken vessels tarnished by personal devastation, forced to fight through a world that was intent on breaking them down into bite-sized zombie snacks. Despite the chaos around them, they each took responsibility for a young girl, caring for them without any defined obligation. These relationships built over time. At first, it was about survival and a sense of decency, doing the right thing. However, by the end of each riveting story, Lee and Joel had become father figures to Clementine and Ellie, Clementine, respectively. And as the player, I found myself surprised by my own sense of connection to these young characters. Lee gave his life to protect and save Clem, first teaching her how to survive in a hostile world, and ultimately showing her that to love someone is to sacrifice everything for them. You're strong, Clem. You're strong, Clem. You can do anything. You're going to see bad stuff, but it's okay. In later games, we see an older, I always think it says Clem reflecting on Lee's parting words and living out his lessons. I've now watched her grow up through the 3 seasons of The Walking Dead, and despite the horrors she faced, I've reveled in seeing her mature into a strong, capable survivor, wise beyond her years. I love how Telltale's has showed Clem to evolve as a character, but I can't help but think back out that scared 8-year-old kid hiding in her treehouse. I wonder who and where would she be without Lee's compassion and guidance. She'd be dead. As the gamer, we protected Clem from the hordes of The Walking Dead for more than a dozen hours. When I picked out my DualShock for the 2nd and 3rd seasons, that defensive fatherly instinct remained steadfast despite the fact that along the way I spent more time playing as Clem than I ever did as Lee. Every tough decision I made in The Walking Dead started by considering what was best for Clem. Clementine. The feeling is hard to explain, but the closest way I can describe it is paternal. I was like, what is that word? I have no children, and when I first played The Walking Dead, I didn't even have a girlfriend. I certainly didn't feel drawn to the idea of fatherhood. I always assumed I'd have kids, but it was a distant concept. Even when I married a couple of years later at 25, I felt utterly unprepared to raise a young child and to be kind of father my hypothetical offspring would deserve. It was always part of the plan, but I remember telling my wife I just wasn't ready. As the years passed, this connection to... How long is this article? Oh, Jesus criminy. Well, I guess we got time. Let's see. As the years passed, this connection to Clem strengthened over more games, but it was the brick-throwing, giraffe-loving Ellie, who gave me a taste of experiencing the sacrifices a parent would make to protect their loved ones. In 2013, The Last of Us became my favorite story ever created. Not just in the script-diluted medium of games, but in all television, film, and literature. It filled with amazing environments, a spine-chilling soundtrack, and intense gameplay moments. But Neil Druckmann's incredible writing is the main reason The Last of Us will go down as a standout storytelling experience of the PlayStation 3 generation. Oh, wow, that's just real nice. The relationship between its central characters is the glue that holds it all together. Oh, geez. Interesting. So, good stories are made by good characters. Wow, game designers, I really wish you would see that. Joel endures months of hardships along Ellie, and just as Lee did with Clem, he shows her what it takes to survive, while she teaches him to find glimmers of hope and joys in simple things of life. Through their ups and downs, Joel reaches a position where he would do anything to protect her. He wouldn't just risk his own life, he'd take the lives of those standing in his way and disregards what could potentially happen if he just allowed Ellie to sacrifice herself in the story's climactic ending. Unlike Telltale's The Walking Dead developer, Naughty Dog delivers linear stories without the freedom to determine your own outcome. Attempt to save humanity, the Fireflies are just minutes away from performing a surgical procedure that will cost Ellie everything when Joel brutally guns his way through dozens of soldiers and whisks her away to safety.
Freaking toxic masculinity.
Many gamers expected or at least wanted to face the choice at this point, escape with Ellie or sacrifice her to the supposed greater good. But that wasn't the story Naughty Dog wanted to tell, as Joel chose to protect his surrogate daughter and throw away any chance of restoring order to a society in disarray. As much as this frustrated some players, honestly, I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Ellie was awesome, smart and funny, thoughtful and brave, fierce and adorable.
Jeez, how many compliments does she need? Yeah, you can just say Ellie was awesome. That pretty much summarizes all that. I was so invested in Ellie's safety and future that I would have done anything to save her. Ellie was awesome, smart, fun. Okay, we get it. I felt that the same paternal impulse that drew me to protect Clem. I wanted nothing but to see Ellie safe and sound, happy even, if such thing possible in her strange, relentless world. Again, my wife and I are yet to be blessed with children of our own, but I imagine any loving father would make the same selfish decision as Joel in that tense operating theater. In the same way, many people would struggle not to choose a beloved pet over the life of a complete stranger. I felt that self-centered desire to protect the one who mattered most to me. I needed Ellie to survive. The Last of Us taught me that impulse is brought out to a new emotion as I reflected on the game's stunning conclusion 5 years ago. I realized the connection I felt to Ellie was likely to drop in the ocean compared to what I might feel for a child of my own. But would I be the kind of parent who wouldn't hesitate to make tough decisions or sacrifices? I feared I wasn't there yet. You're never really truly ready until it happens, but I still felt unprepared to give up who I was to become someone who puts their own desires and needs to the self on the self. Fast forward 5 years and a lot has changed in my life, but I still love playing video games. I was beyond excited to start God of War in April, with a special interest in the father-son dynamic between Kratos and Atreus. However, I quickly realized it was far harder to relate to a Spartan god, shocking, I know, than the other father figures who had resonated so strongly with me in the past. Well, you know, Kratos, he's God of War, but he does have redeeming qualities. I would know because I beat the whole game. For Kratos, every battle, every success and failure, every side quest presents a meaningful teaching moment, which is really great in the game, by the way. God of War is simply one of the best games I've ever played. Like Lee and Joel, he will protect and provide for his young dependent at any cost. But in the untamed Norse realm of Midgard, he sees no room to nurture Atreus with encouragement or empower his son through mutual respect. It's a tough love, no doubt, but it's also harsh and cold in an already frosty world. Maybe that's because Kratos is no bullshit. Maybe that's the point, but my experience throughout the incredible God of War narrative flagged an obvious progression from the way I felt like playing The Walking Dead and Last of Us. Instead of wishing I had the courage to act like Lee and Joel, I was disappointed in the way Kratos failed to emotionally care for Atreus. He frustrated me early in the game, appearing as an unprepared and unenthused parent who seemed forced to spend time with his mourning son. Kratos saw a brief reflection of the way I felt 5 years ago, far from the father I would want to be until a major turning point in the story. He made no effort to relate to Atreus. He lied about his past, he was disinterested, and he failed to console or comfort a boy overcoming the loss of his mother. Just hug your son, man. This bothered me enough to make me realize how my mindset has shifted since first meeting Ellie and Clem those years ago, as much as they appealed to my nurturing side and show a glimpse of who I wanted to be. My unforgettable God of War experience, to be clear, I loved the game, confirmed that I am now in a completely different place. Over time, feelings of Kratos-like reluctance has been replaced with excitement and a sense that I would go any length to start a family, to nurture like Lee or Joel, and to protect it with their same determination. I know I'm ready to be a father as much as I'll ever be. I have no idea what's next for these characters in The Last of Us 2 and Clem's final chapter later this year, but we know enough about them to be confident they'll take on their respective worlds in their own way by surviving, facing problems head-on, making sacrifices for those they care about, and carrying on the legacies passed on by those they've lost. In my own life, I'll endeavor to inspire a future generation to do the same. As I reflect on my lasting memories of Lee and Joel's interaction with Clem and Ellie, and even Kratos with Atreus, I look forward to the opportunity to experience those previous precious teaching moments with my own children, hopefully minus the zombies. Yes, good old parenting. Yes, parenting is the most important thing for a kid's growth. Like, that should just be obvious. And everybody's got their own ways to teach. And a lot of times you probably won't be ready. You probably won't even, I mean, having a baby, even thinking about it. It's one of those things, it's like, oh shit, it happened. Now what do I do? It's one of those times where you have a freak out moment. It's like usually it's the man that has like crazy freak out moments. I see it all the time when I work at the hospital. The women are obviously more worried about the baby, but the men are just like like they need they need a hyperventilate and a bag. And they're the ones that are like more tense than anything. It's really crazy to see. But yeah, it's what was I gonna say? Jeez, I already lost my train of thought. But yeah, having a father figure and a mother figure is always great. It's definitely recommended to have two, of course. So one can teach this, and then one can teach that, and this way of thinking, and then this way of thinking. But sometimes when a zombie apocalypse comes, you just, you kind of can't help it. And then, sometimes like in these Telltale games or Last of Us, sometimes you're just trying to fill in sometimes people or dads or whatever that take care of other people along the way. They're trying to fill in, sometimes or usually they're trying to fill in a hole that used to be filled up by something else that reminded them of their past mistakes or people they cared about, pain of loss and all that. Just to kind of distract them or just make an excuse for themselves. But then it's not fair, because then you're just not being completely honest of your true intentions. So then the false pretenses comes to be. And that could happen with The Last of Us, with Joel and Ellie. He used to have a daughter, got killed by zombies or shot. I can't remember exactly in the beginning. It's been a bit. And then, then this other girl comes into the limelight and then kind of takes over and fills in the spot. And then that becomes its own thing later on, where he's confronted about it. So yeah, it's like it's a little bit of living a lie, but then those are like the hardest things for somebody to admit when they lost a loved one, and then someone else, sometimes even the father of the parent of the lost one can get really overly protective when it comes to talking about that, and then not being upfront about it. I mean, can you blame somebody losing a child? I mean, people cry over losing pets, animals and stuff. So just imagine how it is with like a human being. It's insane. It's pretty life-changing stuff. If you just want to be a good parent, just don't beat your kid. Don't verbally abuse. Don't physically abuse. I know Kratos has his aggressive moments and stuff, but he never actually hits the boy. I mean, he does do a push, but it's the only abuse in the game, because a little light tap, it's still abuse. But he's the god of war. A little light push coming from a guy like that pales in comparison to the amount of abuse that kids face these days, and what they've always faced. So yeah, he didn't get a black eye from it. Still bad to do, but it was a baby abuse. But yeah, I would take it that these games that are very narratively driven in perspective on parenthood, I think it's great that they have these types of relationships, because sometimes it just happens and you just have no idea it's going to happen. And then what to say, you can't help who you fall in love with. You really can't. It's such a biological response, right? I mean, as parents or as adults, we always want to take care of something, or just people in general. We always want to take care of and nurture and provide and continue society. It's just a biological response, and especially in a zombie apocalypse, it's kind of like survival of the fittest, And you think about this stuff, you think about it on the surface level, like, I need to save this person, but you don't really think about why you need to save this person, and that's why it's so hard to communicate why you save this person to a group of other individuals that are against why you save this person, right? That's what made these zombie shows or so have high tense moments like that, because there's a lot of controversial stuff. It's like, do we save this person or we let him die? You know. Yeah, Telltale Games is definitely if you're really hating The Walking Dead because The Walking Dead is just poop, I would highly recommend just playing the Telltale's games, because they're definitely a lot better. Or just watch season 1 of The Walking Dead, and then you'd be okay. But yeah, that was pretty good. I think I covered a bit of the big picture. Obviously, you can go on forever with this type of stuff. But you know, if you haven't tried these games, I highly recommend you should try The Walking Dead, Telltale's games. I'm sure they're super cheap. They're like on every platform. Yeah, Last of Us is good, and then God of War especially. God of War. But anyway, folks, this has been the NIKO Show, episode 20. Wowzers! Check out that game Vampire. It might be really good. Might be really cool if you're really into that. But I hope to see you guys again soon. I still kind of deciding if I want to stream The Old Republic or just wait until tonight when I stream more Pokemans. Not entirely sure. I'm going to play Star Wars either way. But you know what? This might be like a stream kind of day. I don't know. Maybe I just like to take a break and just, you know, Netflix and chill. But anyway, thanks again, guys. Hope to see you again. This has been NIKO Show. I've been your host, Niko the Legend. And thanks, Rai, for stopping by.